today. So we have Kelly Ueoka, President of Pacxa, and Doug Shimokawa, the Vice-President of Pacxa, who will be sharing more about the company. Just some quick, brief introductions to to both of them. So Kelly, who is the President of Pacxa, oversees the company's day-to-day operations and the expansion of Pacxa's products and services in Hawaii and beyond. He has over 15 years of technical consulting experience and is also a Microsoft and Infrastructure Solutions Architect and Certified Solutions Expert for Hybrid Cloud Technologies. Prior to joining Pacxa, Kelly honed his skills at Commercial Data Systems, Hawaii Electric Company, Kauai Island Utility Cooperative, and the County of Kauai. He holds a Bachelor's of Sciences in Computer Information Systems from Southern Oregon University. And then we have Doug, whose camera is on. So Doug, the VP of Pacxa, is responsible for leading its managed services group, which oversees offerings such as Office 365, Microsoft Azure, IT maintenance and operations, and outsourced IT support for a wide range of Hawaii's clients. And in one of his larger projects, Doug actually spearheaded the Office 365 migration for 12,000 State of Hawaii employees from 13 different departments. Similarly, he has 15 years of experience in technology, and his areas of expertise include data analytics, project management, and business operations. Prior to Pacxa, Doug led numerous projects as a consultant at the Business Solution Technologies company and as a senior engineer at Lockheed Martin. He received his bachelor's in electrical engineering and computer science and a master's in electrical engineering from Yale, as well as an MBA from UH Manoa. So again, thank you both of you for joining us today. I see that we have some slides up, so I'm just going to let both of you take over the session.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that intro. Hey, sorry about my video. I keep getting a message saying the host stopped it, but it's okay as long as you can hear me.
Sure. Let me, yeah.
Oh, there you go. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sorry, Kelly.
No, thank you very much for that introduction, and I appreciate the opportunity. So I guess I'll just start by, thanks for the introduction, but I'm Kelly, the President of Pacxa. Doug is here as well, Senior Vice President. And through the introduction, you heard that Doug runs our Microsoft practice, but also our managed services practice, which we'll share more about as we go through the overview. So Pacxa was formed through merger and acquisition. We are part of the Island Holdings family of companies. So sister companies to Pacxa would be Island Insurance, Atlas Insurance, IC International, which is a surplus lines insurance provider, and then Tradewind Capital Group, which is probably the largest locally held private equity firm. And we've been around for about 10 years, but the Island family has had a long-standing interest in technology. And really our goal is to help local businesses succeed through technology. And, we're lucky. Doug is a great use case for us because he's a Yale graduate, Ivy Leaguer, and able to recruit him into this company that really, again, is aimed at helping Hawaii-based organizations succeed, large and small alike. So, Doug, I don't know if you had anything to add to this slide here, if you wanted to kind of comment on anything.
I think, thanks, Kelly. One of the things that Pacxa, as part of Island, is really focused on is our place in the community and really empowering all of the local businesses and organizations to succeed in modern times in 2020. Really, everybody needs technology in their business, whether you're a large organization or a small organization. So, as part of Island, as they kind of address operational needs, specifically in insurance, around the success of local organizations, we're doing the same thing through technology.
Absolutely. So our mission is, really like we keep saying already, is to help organizations leverage technology to reach their full potential. And we have a vision that we enable success of our people and businesses by just making technology work. I mean, everybody knows at times getting things to work is, 50% of the battle. And so, and again, the specific focus on being local and having a true systems integrator, within the islands, I think is a very competitive advantage for us. As of late, Doug mentioned modern times in 2020. I really feel like Pacxa, alongside other Hawaii businesses and organizations, really have an opportunity to start from the ground up. So we are looking at a lot of partnerships with our customers, but also in education, to help those who have been affected perhaps by the pandemic, to join or enter the workforce in a resilient industry. I think technology is just a massive enabler for a lot of opportunity. I've been hearing that large tech firms, like the Microsofts and the Googles, have all made a determination about staying remote in terms of the workforce. And what that equates to is really, people being able to work from anywhere. So I think with these kind of three pillars of opportunity, investing in Hawaii's growth, of course, we're there to do that. But also we want to invest in the future and make sure that we can be competitive, with our employment and of course our pay, fulfilling, again, helping people is top of the list for us. Helping people and helping organizations succeed is top of the list for us. I would note that, Hawaii-based organizations are a little behind the technology curve. Doug mentioned a case study that we had had a successful implementation with the state of Hawaii executive branch, which is over 12,500 people, going straight from a legacy email platform or legacy collaboration platform into Microsoft Office 365. And so for those who aren't familiar, Office 365 is what we call cloud. So it's leveraging cloud computing. And that was a big jump. That's a big jump for anybody, but for the state to be so insightful and have the, fortitude to go through it that over the course of, I think, about 18 months is really impressive. And, what's become of an organization's technology environment, or what the expectations have become, are all these things that are happening within the industry, like pay-per-use, meaning you pay a monthly fee and you get a service. If you stop paying for it, then it kind of shuts off. Traditionally, it's been make these huge spends every 3 years, and then organizations have to deal with the antiquation of the software, antiquation of the technology, and then, a lot of planning goes into it. Now it's become very agile. So getting the functionality and the features, almost on a cadence that's really hard to keep up with, again, is an opportunity, for companies like Pacxa. Cybersecurity is just extremely top of mind for our organization, and it's paramount to helping our customers, because nobody knows everything. And, these attackers and these what we call black hats and, rogue bad actors, installing ransomware, pretending to be somebody's boss or pretending to be an executive in companies, by using simple techniques, spoofing email addresses, has caused a lot of reputational, and I think even to some degree, fiduciary financial damage to certain companies that have experienced those types of attacks. And, that's kind of like where Pacxa, I feel like, has had a lot of opportunity to be like the heroes in the industry and come in and help people recover, and then also help people to protect their digital assets and then stay safe. And I know that Doug and his team have gone through it with some of our customers on a large scale, but also help them to remediate these issues and then build resiliency into their technology plans going forward. So, Doug, I don't know if you had anything to share there about some of your experiences, and what maybe you can also share what it was like for the staff to be involved with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Kelly. Like Kelly said, one of the things that that COVID has brought is a lot more remote work, and he talked about some of the big companies deciding to stay remote, potentially permanently. A lot of organizations in Hawaii and really all around the world needed help to pivot their operations. For a lot of organizations that we work with in Hawaii, they were set up to work in the office. They maybe had a server in their office where the files were and everything was shared locally. A lot of people didn't work from home, both from a policy perspective and from a technology perspective. So we were in good position to enable them to do that, to stay productive, even though we couldn't go into the office or can't go into the office in some cases still because of COVID. But then the other side of that is allowing the work from home does increase what they call the attack surface for bad actors. So we've seen a lot more cybercrime over the past 8-9 months, and we've gone through it. We've gone through attacks and remediations for some of our clients that took months to rebuild. For the folks who are ahead of the curve and moving to the cloud, where we can secure things, appropriately back them up, really have the benefit of AI and machine learning on what the threats are. We can stop those things much more quickly and minimize the impact to the working staff, the impact to the organization, both operationally and financially, and the impact to our team, who has to sort of rebuild everything on the other side of an incident.
Yeah, thanks for that, Doug. Sorry, I just flashed a question from somebody on the screen. I apologize about that, but I will definitely answer that as we get into more of kind of what Pacxa, who we are, what we do. Technology is so broad, and there's just so many avenues, again, to help organizations by delivering on it. Whether or not you want to try and write a killer app, or whether or not you just want to help people through things that Doug just kind of touched upon. But Pacxa is a infrastructure, focused systems integrator. So before I get into this next slide, sorry, I will, excuse me, this thing is acting up on me. Sorry. So we partner extremely closely with Microsoft. We partner extremely closely with Oracle. Partner with Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, and other emerging partnerships because of our geography. A lot of folks, partners, or a lot of tech providers in the industry, the first call they make, I feel like sometimes is Pacxa, and because of our geography and Hawaii being, such a unique place, but nonetheless having it's the same vertical industries as the mainland, as stateside, or anywhere for that matter, like utilities, Department of Defense, state, local government, financial services, and banking. So with that, I think we've tried to limit our scope. And again, I apologize about that question flashing up earlier, but we aren't really a software development shop. We have some on-staff development capabilities, but it's very focused, towards our partner, our vendor technologies. For example, Oracle. They have an entire CRM platform hosted on a technology formerly called Siebel, and another platform called WebLogic is middleware. I mention this because Pacxa has a lot of expertise in this area. To customize that from an out-of-the-box deployment and tailor it for what a customer is asking or what they require, especially when you deal with larger implementations like with the state. The complexity becomes really high, and the need for commodity development that kind of we stray away from that because it's so, again, focused on the vendor technologies, but you still do need the basics. So we're looking at at those aspects a little differently. Another emerging partner for us is ServiceNow, and I don't know if anybody is unfamiliar with ServiceNow. They are a software as a service company that delivers IT service management and cybersecurity framework and everything kind of that an IT shop needs or wants, and it's hosted with them. It's in the cloud, quote unquote. So we do have capability for development there, but again, it would be centric to the vendor's platform. So I apologize for this, but in line with my my previous slide about Hawaii-based organizations just being a little bit behind the curve in technology, we are also looking to help drive or build a workforce that can help these organizations kind of modernize, again, the infrastructure and their technology operation through the set of partners that I talked about. So in education and industry and government, there's just some simple questions that we're asking. And sorry, these things will float up, but some of the things we're looking at in terms of education is, everything's going remote. I mean, that's probably going to be here to stay. So, digital platforms for distance learning and remote collaboration. Do folks interested in technology get the skills to enter the workforce right away coming out of college or perhaps even high school, is a question that I've often asked, because again, somebody like Pacxa trying to help organizations move their technology footprint and digital estate forward, it ends up being fairly vendor specific or vendor centric. So with that, I know coming out of high school, there wouldn't be somebody who had their, for example, Oracle certification or their Microsoft certification, or even if you take core networking, one of the companies we think about all the time is Cisco, and now HPE getting into that arena. We offer the opportunity to get an accelerated education, quote unquote, with those set of vendors and the associated technologies, which I think is really beneficial because again, it's accelerated. It gives people a glimpse into what the IT industry actually is like and what it takes to deliver on these somewhat commodity technologies, but very valuable in helping organizations move forward. And so, in the middle there, sorry, that was the commercial industry or larger businesses. As they move and think about digital transformation, for example, taking a core business system like an accounting platform and then modernizing it. What does that mean, right? It means they want to upgrade or they want to choose a vendor that can provide the best in class accounting software. But modernizing it also means evaluating technology like cloud and hosting it somewhere off-site, which is a huge change for a lot of Hawaii-based organizations, again, because we're in the middle of the ocean and the data and the applications would be hosted elsewhere. There's a lot of uncertainty that comes with that. However, that is the way the industry is going. And there is, whether it's delivered as pure software as a service or whether we build it on one of the leading edge cloud providers like Microsoft or AWS, Amazon Web Services, it really is a shift and requires a different skill set to even get off the ground. So, I think, again, there's so much opportunity to create effective if college is not for you and you have your high school diploma, there could be opportunities there to get into these, again, delivering on these commodity technologies that really do help modernize an organization's, digital state. And then opportunities for modernizing our customer base and their footprint is also, I think, very prevalent right now. And Doug might be seeing, a lot of that out there with these with these things that are just prevalent, almost running rampant with these threats and how to mitigate them. Again, cloud could be an answer. Doug, I don't know if you had anything to add to that, but how we use cloud to help, modernize and protect in the go forward might be an example of that too.
Yeah, thanks. There's so many ways, and it's changing so rapidly, as Kelly alluded to. But there are ways sort of that we look at depending on the type of business and the size of the business. One of the underlying things for a lot of our customers are that they don't want to be in the data center business. They don't want to have servers in their office where now as they get more and more complex and more expensive, they're looking at managing the power and the physical security so that people can't plug something into it, and the cooling for it. So we moved that to the cloud. Also from a cost basis, moving to the cloud allows them to be more flexible. So businesses maybe 50 years ago that could say, this is the business we're going to do over the next 10 years and size their operation appropriately. That doesn't seem to be the case anymore, where folks may grow rapidly or pivot and change their operations. And so that's another great use case for the cloud, where we're allowing more elastic use of computing and technology, where they can scale up quickly without the upfront investment that Kelly was mentioning for these things that go as a service or pay as you go, pay per use, and then ramp them back down if they need to. We're seeing that right now with some of our clients for COVID response. They've spun up a department or a group that's going to do focus on delivering assistance or aid. So they've hired 20 temporary workers. They're going to give this processing capability to help get aid processed and assistance out to families and businesses that need it. And they know in 2 months or 3 months, they're going to ramp that back down. They didn't need to buy tens of thousands of dollars worth of servers to put in their office and put it in a rack and connect the networking and make sure their email system can host that many more mailboxes. We just turn them on for 2-3 months and then turn them back off. So the cloud has really been a great enabler for agility in business, especially in uncertain times like this.
I think that's a great example of how we can really move quickly and help, especially when you think about, the pandemic and COVID response, and and then taking it a step forward, thinking about the next phases with how we're going to get back to work, eventually. I mean, I know I have confidence that we will get out of this eventually. Things will go back to, quote unquote normal somewhat. But if the pandemic, if the virus stays around with us, how do we manage that? And so one of the other examples that, in line with what Doug was mentioning was this ServiceNow application, where we have the ability to easily turn up these safe workplace applications that will do everything from, providing the form templates, providing mobility, so application ubiquity across all devices, whether it's a web browser on your PC or an iPad or a phone. You can, get this entire suite of applications that will help employees return to work safely, and then also have the confidence to do so. I think a lot of times, and as we go, as technology extends from, consumerization of IT, kind of, we're looking at it happen where we can get everything on our mobile devices or on an iPad or a tablet, and still maintain productivity. We have access to basically anything So the security around that, again, I talked about the cybersecurity being so important, and that's one area that Pacxa has a very critical focus on. But aside from those other technology, technology-based reasons to be with us, which again, there's broad opportunity there. But we're founded on the Island Holdings, core values, and so I certainly won't. I'll let the viewers read this on their own, but it kind of really articulates and then even more so accentuates where our focuses are in terms of our core values. And we really take the long view on things. Pacxa is going to be here to stay, and I think again I mentioned these ground level opportunities with us because of where I think Hawaii and a lot of the organizations are in terms of their technology investment and technology footprint. But, really ultimately wanting to have this focus on the community and making our decisions that are in line, to help Hawaii and recognizing that everything's interconnected here. I mean, it's such a small place that, we really want to have and build more of a partnership with our customers than just having them be customers. And I think we've done that successfully to date. Innovation is definitely something that's high on our radar, which I'll talk about more in the next slide. But I'm sorry, in another slide coming. But so our vision, to enable the success of our Hawaii's people and businesses by making technology work, it's fairly broad because, like I said, getting technology to work at times, I mean, what does that even mean? And people spend, I've watched other organizations spend, thousands of hours trying to get something to work. So we really want to focus on that, being the guys that can come in, being the folks that can go over and beyond to make your technology investments work for you. And, our employee goals align with that. So serving as community leaders, bringing education and, being the experts in the tech sector, providing these job opportunities. And again, like we talked about, a very resilient sector of our employment in the industry as a whole that promotes equity in our community and invests in the people. We really, for our staff, we really encourage them to keep their career going, and we give them, we provide a lot of broad opportunities with that. Sorry, I see that I'm coming up right on the time, so I'll get to the last couple slides, but this is just an example of what I wanted to show for people that are employed with us, and also for those coming from a different industry, they would have a lot of opportunity. So these 4 quadrants, Pacxa would actually fund the opportunities to go get certifications in this area, and at the very least, I feel like you could go get this with a high school diploma and being with us and, spending the time to really go through our formal training program with us and our partners to go and get these certifications, which would then, afford people an opportunity in this industry. Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Great, thank you so much, Kelly.
All the time. Yeah.
No worries. I mean, they have another half an hour with you in the other breakout room, but I just wanted to address one of the questions that came in from Chad. He's asking, is there room for growth from a service desk analyst? What would be the factors that would limit growth within the organization?
Yeah, I mean, so it's up to the individual. I mean, those are the best examples. We like people coming into our service desk, and we've had a few now that have came in at that level and then became, lead consultants on some pretty large projects for us. So, there is opportunity, and I think the limiting factor would be, how far you want to take it. So yeah, sorry, I know we're time, but Doug, you got anything to add there?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We have quite a handful of folks that have transitioned in career path from the service desk group to be, like Kelly said, senior consultants or consultants on different teams. We have folks that have moved into sales or purchasing or account management type roles as well. It's really limited by the career path that you envision for yourself. And then, we have our managers meet with all the staff members regularly, monthly, bi-monthly, to check in on that career path, suggest training, certification things, stretch projects or stretch assignments that you can take on to further yourself down that path.